What surprised me most or bothered me the most was how accurate it felt, in that I don't know much about technology. I know how to use it, but I don't understand how it is that me using it works, especially how it's just like ones and zeros. Doesn't make sense to me, and how that comes out to be a screen, especially when we have this newer stuff like AI. I am totally at a loss. And the fact that there was the guy who created computers, and he was saying how anybody can learn how to do it and it's not that difficult, and it's just the way society has us built, is because they want us to not know, because if we knew, we would make our own, and then there would be no requirements for other people to make them. That's kind of just like a scary thought, in that we're all so complacent in our lives to just to use what's available to us, instead of learning how to use it and understanding how to use it. So one of the specific quotes that I really liked is not from the realm of the dead, of course, but from the realm of the lifeless. It kind of struck a chord for me, because I mean, even right now, I'm talking into my phone, into the realm of the lifeless. At some point, obviously, it's going to translate and be into the realm of the living again, as someone can watch it. But right now, I'm not communicating to anyone other than a phone. And I think it just reminds us how much of our life and how much of our work is dedicated to being online or using technology. And I think there are benefits to this, because I know so many people, and I've been able to keep in contact with many more people because of social media and the amount of events, everything. I mean, we entirely rely on it. And I do think it's amazing how much we get to talk to people and interact with people. But I also think it's not that it causes issues in creating relationships, but creating intimacy. I think the fact that you no longer have to put in as much effort for relationships, because you can just have them online and you can just contact them whenever, has kind of brought a lack of intimacy to our society. It also just means, especially when you think of any sort of friendship or any sort of other relationship, you can just jump from one to another because you have so many people available. I mean, there are so many apps dedicated just to like making friends and finding new people, like something at Instagram or even like Tinder. Any of those kind of apps or programs are used to set you up to have more relationships. And I think that it gives us also a lack of the ability to create relationships, because it's almost done for us. We don't have to do the work. I think also the fact that one of the big ones that it's said is cutting out things like I say a lot, and I just thought it was kind of funny that this talks about how we can use computers and things to cut out those unimportant words. There was another part of it that really stuck with me, and that was, I'm going to quote here, but at the same time, it's like it isn't happening. It has a whiff, the abstract has, about it. And although I'm horrified, I'm not connected to it. Not really. And he's talking about seeing all the wars going on and seeing forests disappearing, species going extinct, all of that stuff. I really do agree that social media and the internet in general has given a damper on our ability to react to things. The biggest example I can think of is like the Epstein files, where like even 2 days after, there's probably so many memes, so many like jokes being made about it, because I don't even know if it's because of social media. I think just once they start circulating, like we become so desensitized because we have the internet and we see all this stuff, and it's hard to know what's real and what's not, because there's also AI stuff now. And so people are just, they see it online, and if they aren't, even if they see it on the news, like there's no huge reaction anymore. I firmly believe if something like the Epstein files had come out 100 years ago, there'd be revolts, and I don't think the government would have stayed the way it is. And it's something that I think as a society, like, we lack the ability to unify against something. And I think part of it is because social media dampers our reactions. I know it's not exactly how he talks about it, but I think that he's kind of getting to that point. So another quote: humanity largely has moved away from relationship with the world. I think that's a huge part. We are so focused on our relationships with other people that we don't realize how our relationships with the rest of the world has fallen. We tend to just care about things that are online and less about the world around us. I mean, we can see that with animals going extinct, with, like he was saying earlier, forest fires. There seems to be a lack of concern, because even if you do hear something, you never know if it's true. As well as, if I say, oh, like, all of our trees are going missing, and then you go online and you see people posting videos of forests and things, it's hard to believe what you see. I think the problem with Carl's argument is that he expects people to have the desire to learn about everything they're using. And in today's society, we so heavily rely on just what's convenient. That's kind of the big thing of today, is convenience and affordability. And I don't think there's going to be enough change in people, even if they know they could learn how to do it by just learning it. I mean, you could learn how to do anything just by learning it, and it's something that we don't do. We are too busy focusing on one thing to care about another. So while I think his point is valid, I don't think it's going to come to be where people all learn how to use technology, kind of like how he was talking about. It's not how our society is built. And for the future, I think we're still going to be heavily reliant on people becoming experts on certain areas and not others. Because even though they're talking about this guy, James, who knows so much about computers, there's an entire area of interest that he probably has no idea how to do, such as farming or something, where it's easy to do if you learn it, but we don't, as a society, have where everybody's a jack of all trades. People become experts in one thing and then share it with others. So I think in that kind of way, not knowing isn't always a problem, because we can't know how everything operates in today's world. There's so much going on that we can't. And I think computers is just one of them.